What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Kanayo here, bringing it back to you guys with another Defiance video talking about how to obtain the Samurai Blade within the 7th Legion DLC. Now, I must note before I get into this is that you will need the 7th Legion DLC in order to obtain or use any of the Samurai Blades within it. You can obtain the 7th Legion DLC by purchasing it from the Defiance store within the game, or I believe from the Glyph client that is needed to be installed in order to run the Defiance game itself. But with that being said, let's jump into the map right quick, and I can show you exactly where the 7 Legion vendors are located on the map. As you can see, I am at Overpass in San Francisco, which is located in the downward section of the map. You can see that there is a 7 Legion vendor here that you'll be able to access. All the 7 Legion vendors are, of course, exactly the same. They just have different ports that you can be able to access the 7 Legion vendor from. Excuse me. Such as Alcatraz will have the 7th Legion vendor, as well as if I go down to the Silicon Valley, which is a completely separate map, we'll have the 7th Legion vendor at the Water Temple port as well, which is kind of nice. So it gives you 3 separate different locations that you can port to in order to access the 7th Legion vendor. Once again, the 7th Legion vendor, of course, is the same for each port. It just gives you access to a multitude of ports in order to be able to have access to the vendor itself. But if I drop real quick into the vendor here, you can see that there's a multitude of weapons that you can purchase through a set amount of currency that looks like a 7, as you can see right down by my script here, that I will tell you how to obtain in just 1 second. But you can also obtain caches, as well as supply crates, as well as the samurai title, which is kind of nice. And if you wanted to get a little bit fancy, you can purchase bits and use those bits in order to obtain a supply crate possibly and get some other fancy loot. But that of course requires real money, and that is entirely up to you if you want to do so. But let's jump into the blade here. As you can see in its stats, the blue blade is 6,366 light damage compared to the purple blade, which is 6,790 damage. So the purple blade is going to be a little bit stronger than the blue blade, of course, but however, you can upgrade these blades accordingly, like any other weapon, from a blue to a purple, to a purple to an orange. And now with that being said, you can also mod out the weapon, of course, which is really nice, considering that within the Cashin DLC and the Cashin blade, you cannot mod those out. So it gives a little bit of type of style and unique perspective on this weapon as opposed to the Cashin blade, which is really nice, considering the fact that everyone has their kind of own playstyle and kind of how they want to go about playing with a melee weapon within the game, or just how they go about playing the game in general. If I cycle through my set of weapons here, you will eventually see that I have the Cashin blade equipped, and that there are no mod synergies in order to be equipped under the Cashin blade itself. As well as it being mastered, there is no master perk. However, I don't know if there's a master perk under the Samurai Blade within the 7 Legion DLC. I would have to actually find that out, and once I do, I will be sure to inform you guys on the details about that. But with that being said, if I scroll down to here, you can see the stats and the comparison of what they are. Let me drop into the purple blade here, and you can see a closer comparison. Of course, the charge damage is ridiculously higher, as well as the light damage will be a little bit higher, of course, than the Cashin blade. However, this Cashin blade, and even though it is an orange, there is still a stronger one that you'll be able to obtain from the vendor itself, which is kind of interesting because when I ended up buying the Cashin blade, a week later they actually ended up changing all the stats on the blade of the orange Cashin blade, as well as the price range, making it higher, but making it a hell of a lot stronger. So if you're looking for overall damage output, I would highly recommend the Cashin blade. But if you're looking for more mobility and survivability, as well as still a really good amount of damage output, as well as better style points, I must add, if we drop into the view here, you can see how sexy this blade looks. Damn. The 7 Legion blade will definitely be the one that you probably should go for, if I must say. But with that being said, it does take forever to build up the form of currency. As you can see down below here, I am still building up the currency for the 7th Legion vendor, trying so desperately to purchase this 500 7th Legion Samurai Blade. But with all that being said, let me show you guys real quick on how to obtain the set currency in order to purchase one of those blades. If I hit escape here, drop into goals, then go from contracts into pursuits, pursuits into contracts, you will drop into the 7th Legion, then into the 3 tabs that open up down below here. These 3 tabs will have access to a set of little missions that you can do, so to speak, and give you a set time. Now what these allow you to do is it allows you to obtain a set amount of currency for that 7th Legion faction, I guess you can say, in order to be able to build up enough currency in order to get the blade, which is really, really nice. And then of course the more amount of time, the higher the time limit is on one of these contracts, the more currency you will be able to obtain, and you'll also have to do more things, of course, which is kind of a pain in the ass, but hey, gotta do what you gotta do. As you can see, you complete a multitude of co-op maps that will get you 25 in with the 7th Legion vendor, and then it will also get you another 25 if you complete an incursion, and then another 10 if you bother to complete another incursion. Oh, excuse me. With all that being said, if I drop into pursuits now from contracts and then go into the 7th Legion, and then drop from the 7th Legion tab into the highest honor tab, then it will open up a multitude of tabs. From the multitude of tabs, you can see that there are different things that you'll be able to complete in order to obtain a form of reputation with the 7th Legion vendor. Now, increasing the form of reputation, I'm not entirely too sure exactly what that does, but if I had to make a guess, I would probably say that it would make it a lot easier in order to obtain a form of currency, making the contracts rewards a lot higher than what they are currently, or they just might make it so that it is easier to access higher ranking titles. I'm really not too sure. But if you guys happen to do know, feel free to post it in the comments and let me know. But anyway, guys, that is pretty much it about the whole entirety of how to get the 7th Legion DLC blade. Once again, you will need the 7th Legion DLC in order to do this, in order to use the blade and access it, and just being able to bust people in the face with it, which is really, really what it's intended to do. But, yep. If you guys haven't checked out the Castle and Blade video that I have set up and you are currently interested in it, I will link to that video in the description down below, so feel free to check that out if you like to. But with that being said, I hope you guys learned something from this video, and I hope you guys were informed properly if you were. And if you did happen to learn anything from this video, feel free to drop a like down below, kind of helps me out. And anyway, yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. My name's Chaotic Angle. Don't forget to like, favorite, subscribe, and I hope to see you guys real soon. Later.